Let's go check out the most embarrassing, ineffective opposition party in modern liberal democratic history. Jim Cramer is talking with Nancy Pelosi. Now, Jim Cramer actually, I believe, before he got into the stock game, was a young member, I think, of the Spartacus Society. He had a Marxist phase in college. So even though he's been pumping stocks and being an apologist for the capitalist system for decades, there is a small part of Jim, I guess, that still has some materialist concerns. Now, there is no part of Nancy Pelosi that still has those concerns. Check out this exchange on CNBC. This actually really, I mean, this is just appalling on every level.
As I listen to the changes that you're talking about, telemedicine, study at home, I think, okay, we're in a world where people who are wealthy, people who have jobs, contracts, they can stay at home. I see another world. I see the possibility of two societies developing. Society that has to be out there every day, in the masses, subways, risking themselves. And then this other group of people who are safe at home with all sorts of computers, very rich, a society that is not what you and I want to see. How do we prevent that?
Well, let us do it all together. This is a moment of truth for our country about who we are. What is the humanity of America? We wanted to support the small businesses. They are the vitality of our economy, the dreams that people have, the entrepreneurship, the risk they're willing to take for an idea. And so that's why we all gathered and wrote the PPP for that, so that we can try to reach as many people as possible for their jobs and their businesses. But that was not being done in a way that reached the underbanked and the rest to address your disparity issues. And in our second bill, we were very proud to be able to do that as we increased funding for hospitals and testing essential to how soon we can open up. But if you gave everyone in America, every child in America, a laptop, he or she may still not have access, or seniors or anyone, but think about the kids in school and the rest, if they don't have service. So one of the things we'd like to see as we go forward is that we will have funding for broadband, always on, high speed, all over America. Because kids now, even if they have a laptop, they can't even go to a library or a school or a cafe or any place in order to have access to the network. So that is that digital divide is now becoming a digital chasm, and we have to really address that. So there are many disparities, whether it's access to testing and health care that would go with that, whether it's access to credit, which is what we try to correct in the other bill, whether it's access to the internet, which is our means of communication, and also if it's respect for the Postal Service, which is for many of these people, and especially largely in rural areas as well as urban, how they get their medicines or their products that they've ordered and the rest. So we have to understand what connects us as a country, what unifies as a country. And I'm very confident that when people realize the assault that this has made, not only on the health, the lives of the people and the livelihood of the people, but to the sense of community of who we are as a country, we'll have an opportunity to do something working together, recognizing the role that every aspect of our society plays in it, the public sector, the private sector, et cetera. The public sector, when we do our bill, state and local, that really means honor our heroes. Our healthcare workers, our first responders, our trans people, our food delivery services, food providers.
How long is this?
In every way. Postal Service, the list goes on and on.
Okay. All right, guys. Obviously, that's terrifying on any number of levels. I will say the last part about recognizing. Barack Obama put out a tweet a couple of weeks ago basically saying, something to the effect of like, we see you. Great. You should see everybody. You know what's funny is I actually think the whole act of like seeing and recognizing and hearing is something that should be pretty universalized. That should be like a human to human trait across basically all boundaries. The issue is people are not being delivered for. They don't have hazard pay. Your former press secretary is helping Amazon suppress these workers and propagandizing on Twitter. That's the problem. Now, there was a lot going on there. And actually, I mean, as terrible and as ineffectual and as embarrassing as Nancy Pelosi is, I actually haven't really seen her be sort of like boring Trump level incoherent like she was in that clip. But the bottom line is that you have a CNBC anchor who is known as like the clown stock tip guy asking the basic inequality question. And she has mumbo jumbo about small business without anything specific. She doesn't even have, well, you know, Jim, we need to upgrade the Small Business Administration because it's not designed to handle the type of delivery that we're doing. The only system that we have to really mass deploy resources like this is the Fed, and that favors the financial sector and corporate conglomerates. So we need to upgrade the Small Business Administration. We need to work on that. Okay, fine. Then she brags about stuff, and they're still doing this. Schumer and Pelosi are bragging about extra money for hospitals in a pandemic. I mean, I'm sorry. If that's your version of a political win, then what are you like? Okay, I mean, I get that's like saying like, hey, I lost the set 6-1, but I did manage to hold my serve once. So I think we can see some real improvements in my game here. And then the rest was, okay, sure, we should do broadband, fine, whatever.
Good.
And then just pablum. I mean, honestly, just violent pablum.
Who is she saying needs to work together? Because the problem is she's working together too well with the fucking Republicans and everything they want to do. Pelosi needs to stop working together with the people she likes to work together with. Like, I don't know. And that seems to me like stop criticizing us. Stop criticizing what we're doing. Work together, meaning, you know, censor yourself because we're just trying to get through this together with our Republican pals. Yeah. I mean, she's horrible. She's just world historically bad. And there's no way that she turns her leadership into a success. So she should get out now and let somebody else get on with it because there's nothing she can do.
And like, Ryan would have been better than her. I want to say this really quickly. 100%. Look, I understand because look, she was getting challenged from sort of, I guess, the right, although essentially it's very similar politics. And there was an argument that Nancy Pelosi, who had founded the Progressive Caucus and was, you know, whatever. And honestly, I just wasn't as invested in that argument as I should have been. I didn't, you know, this is the give and take of my politics because I think some of these things, frankly, don't matter as much as maybe some people think they do. But Ellison mattered a hell of a lot. And Ryan would have been a better Speaker of the House. I mean, just even on the basic level of this guy's got decades ahead of him to at least consider the idea of delivering for his constituents. I mean, this is a aged, ultra wealthy person who could not be more divorced from any aspect of working people's lives. It is appalling. It's absolutely appalling.
In the pandemic where people are starving and have housing security issues and like bread lines are going 6 miles long in cities is just like insane to
Thank you. Access to credit? Like, are you kidding me? Okay, good. So just who's going to be collecting on the interest there? Thanks, Nancy Pelosi.
The most ambitious thing they've done is offer COBRA subsidies. Like, it's insane. And the first time I watched this, I was like, damn, I can't believe Jim Cramer let her filibuster for 3.5 minutes. And I'm like, damn, she really cannot filibuster for 3 minutes.
Well,
making life more equitable for people in this country.
Now I know why the person who sent me this clip told me not to bother listening to her answer because the main reason they wanted me to watch it was because it supports their thesis that Jim Cramer is secretly still a Trotskyist, which I would be totally into. Also, on the topic of we see you, we hear you, you're valid, right? That's also a thing that Joe Biden said in a tweet addressed to Bernie supporters. Like, come along. I see you. I hear you. The journalist Molly Lampert did a little deep dive and found out that that phrase comes from one of those consulting firms that they bring in to try to like smooth things over when employees are mad at their bosses for fucking them over.
Yeah.
And
total manager
like
culture.
Utter.
It's pure manager culture.
It's HR
Gelman
speak.
said that when she closed the wing.
Right.
She worked at SDK Knickerbocker. She's worked on Hillary's campaign and all that shit. It's like, it's just code.
It's code. And, look, I will feel seen when Larry Summers is told he'll never work in Democratic Party politics again.
Right.
I will feel seen and heard when that happens.
Like, okay, it's like, say the charitable, backstory is that Summers himself or someone favorable to Summers floated that. Biden still hasn't said anything, just like he didn't say anything about the Bloomberg thing, being on his cabinet, right? Like Biden, those are trial balloons are being graciously waved by Joe Biden. Like, yes,
also,
maybe
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We know Larry Summers is going to be involved. It's like I get. Look, it is important. Look, people spread rumors. People misreport news. People take things that don't have base to them and run with them, and that is a serious problem. And even as we are, I don't consider myself to be a journalist. We're analysts, whatever. Of course, we have to be careful about those things. So yes, has there been an official offer to Larry Summers? No. Do we know that he's going to be part of this? No, we absolutely don't. It is not well reported. And at the same time, I can tell you as an analyst and as somebody who has some understanding of the Democratic Party and Joe Biden in the last couple of decades, Larry Summers is going to be part of it. Yeah. Like that is a 99-1. And not only will Larry Summers be part of it, he's going to actually appeal to a lot of people in the coalition because they're going to spend a lot of time talking to if they actually finally start campaigning, they're going to say, we took the country, we had the same thing in 2008 and we took the country out of it. And that is going, again, that the demos that they're frankly most interested in, that message will appeal to. So we shouldn't be naive about its efficacy. But like, yes, that's what I'm trying to say. There's a dialectic. The Larry Summers story is weekly reported and we don't know. And I will also tell you, Larry Summers is absolutely going to be involved in economic formulation of the Joe Biden campaign administration. If you think otherwise, I don't. And if he isn't, it is not because of any ethical or ideological or anything. It is because Larry Summers is so personally annoying and abrasive that he has annoyed enough people in the campaign trust that they're going to go with somebody else to do the same thing. By the way, it's the same reason. I mean, Summers was part of the Obama administration. Geithner was way less prestigious, but he got Treasury because he's not as fucking annoying as Summers. And things being as they are, Larry Summers was actually better in the context of the Obama administration than Geithner, who is one of the biggest low-key villains of the last 15, 20 years. I mean, just truly horrible, even down to his post-administration work.